Well, another part of my creative activities is to do my own lapidary for most of the stones that I set. I don't facet stones, so I do purchase those from others, but I love making cabochons. And today I want to show you a little bit about how I go from basically a piece of what looks like gravel to beautiful cut opals. The opals that I'm dealing with today, I've obtained all of the rough material from a fellow named Riley Gunn, who currently operates a shop where he sells rough and finished products on opalauctions.com, and his store is known as 53 Frogs or NN Opals. Anyway, big shout out to Riley, because I found him to be a particularly ethical provider of material, and in this business it's not something to sneeze at. Anyway, I hope you enjoy this. I'll try to put something together that shows how I go from a rock to a couple of finished stones. Anyway, and then later on I'll try to show you what I do to work those into pieces. Now, there are professional lapidaries that do lots of YouTubes that are much better at cutting than I am. I really don't intend this to illustrate how to do it. It's actually something that takes a great deal of practice. But I wanted to share some of the journey that I use in creating all the materials that go into any piece of jewelry that I make. Okay, so thank you very much. I have been collecting and cutting stones, rock, for some number of years. And this is just a portion of what I accumulate and what I draw from, and I still occasionally purchase more. I've sold stones in the past to people, but about 99% of what I do for my own work. It's lucrative to sell finished stones to other artists, but I kind of prefer to do my own, so that I have absolute understanding of what's going into my jewelry. And of course, lately I've been doing a lot of opal, and that's what this video will be about. Yeah, these are Ethiopians roughs, and here's some nice Andamuka, collection of Andamuka matrix, and well, matrix and crystals. They're really quite nice. These are rubs, so they're pretty much ready to be shaped. I do the work using these old tools that my wife helped me find, actually. They were beat up and they were non-functional, but they were very cheap because they were in somebody's basement rusting out. And I pretty much rebuilt them and added what I needed to make them functional. So this is how I cut the stones and polish them. So what I want to do today is just rough out a couple of these opals I got from Riley Gunn at NN Opals. It's a very good supplier. Anyway, what I had done was, for these, I had purchased sight unseen, what they call a random draw, which means you could get something that is just about worth what you paid for it, or you could get something worth much more. And so I bought 3 parcels and got stones that I think are actually quite nice. In particular, these two look really nice. They're either white or matrix. I think these are whites and these two are matrix mostly, but we'll find out. Anyway, I'm going to just rough out a little bit of these, especially this one. I think it's going to be a beautiful stone. And then I've got a couple of other opals that I may just try to reshape. I've got 2 that I had cut earlier that needed some work, and then 2 rough ones that I had just rubbed out, and I'll just sort of make an oval or a round out of those. And we'll try to chase some color, and then I can think about what kind of jewelry piece I'll be putting them in. Looking at, for this first piece of rough that I got from Riley, and yeah, there's no doubt that this will cut something very pretty, because you can actually see color all throughout, except for, you know, one little corner has just matrix. So like I said, I'll probably shape this. And then this larger piece is a little more problematic, just because of the shape and where it's going, but there's really pretty color right under there, and so this is where I'll be trying to chase that color. If we take a quick look at a couple of these pieces that I've already rubbed out, if I put a little liquid on them, you can see why I think they have potential. Again, this one, you can kind of begin to see the fire showing up in there, and so that's always a good sign. And then this other one is not dissimilar. It has a little bit more there. So I'll be just kind of seeing if I can turn them into nice pretties to go into jewelry. Well, I'll start this on a 400 grit wheel just to see if I can take that shape down a little bit. Let's see what we've got. This is that corner that I'm not a big fan of, so I'm just going to take it down. Okay, it's got a little undercut there. Let's see where I'm going to go with that. There's sand there that I want to have come out. Let's go to the 600 so I don't go quite so fast, so I can have better control of this shape. Now, just for grins, I want to give this one a little bit of a shape so we can start to see what we're looking at here. This 400, sorry. Spin this around. Just for grins, I want to give this one a little bit of a shape so we can start to see what we're looking at here. This 400, sorry. So I'm just trying to initiate the bevel and see if I've got a reasonably attractive shape that I can pull out of this stone. Yeah, I might. Just going to do some initial shaping of the stone and the dome. Now that I know which side I want to face, I can deal with the angle so that I wind up with a setting edge, something that I can have a bezel grab. Not exquisite, but extremely well worth what I spent to buy it. It's a bit of a gamble, but I think I lucked out on this one. It needs to have a little bit more of a fine finish, even with the wet stone. I find on the 800, I wind up being able to see a lot better what I'm looking at. Alrighty, so let's start with a little bit on this 800 wheel. Whoops, something dropped off the edge over there. It's got a little bit of a cloudiness to it that I may be able to minimize, but except for that, it is a, I don't know, it's an A- stone for me, which is very high quality actually for what I usually do. And it's got a nice size to it too. I didn't calibrate this one because I can make a bezel anything I want, but I wanted to make it at least an attractive shape. Okay, I've been on this wheel for about 5-10 minutes. This is a 1200, so it's like a pre-polish. And I'm getting ready to go over to the 3000, and then I'll use some cerium oxide on this portion of the stone. Okay, so we'll give it a little polish. I still may not be done with this side, but I like to do it in stages. So if I have to go back and redo some, that's fine. That's what I'll do. So first I'll try and get a little bit of a polish all around. Show us what it looks like. This is it's a very beautiful stone. I am going to need, there's a little bit of a flat that I don't like. I'm going to need to reshape that, but I'm going to go ahead and take it off the dop so I can turn it over and do the other side. There is a sand, that part of that sand spot goes all the way through, and I've got it mostly on the edge, so I'm not going to worry about it too much. But it does mean that I probably chose the right side to do, even though there's going to be prettiness on the other side. So I probably will try to set this open back in a vintage setting that really takes advantage of the colors on this stone, because it's pretty nice. Alrighty, well, let's do this one first. So I'm going to try the other side for this one. This is the cupripede that I was working on. It was a bit of a thin stone, but it's not too bad. Okay, I'll make sure that I have this positioned so that the center of the stone, when I try to shape it, is where I need it to be. Yep, that is looking pretty good. Okay, so we'll put a little water on that. And now this is the stone I got from Riley that I've done one side of, and I really just want to see what, I know I need more on this flat part on the dome, but I want to see what the back of this stone looks like, because it may also be exceptionally pretty, and I don't want to go too far before I check and see what that's going to look like. Okay. Alrighty, so I was kind of liking the way that shape was turning out. It needs refining, but generally I like it. So I'm just making sure the stone is nice and perpendicular to the axis of the stick, and that the center of where I want the stone to be is in the center of the axis of rotation. Alrighty. There's a little wax there. Okay. So these are going to be ready in just a moment to put back on the wheels. Okay, I'm going to start with the 600 right away on the back of this stone. Yeah, I'm going to go see what the next grit does to it. So these are the two stones I reshaped, and they turned out really nice. This one is a 1 carat, and this has some nice green flash against a light gray back. These are the two Kubripides that I had rubbed out, and they're both beautiful. So they turned out really quite nicely. And then this is the larger stone that I got from Riley that I did, and it turned out to be absolutely phenomenal. And it's a 3.5 carat stone, so that's not insignificant. I definitely got my money's worth out of this.